Hey everyone, Joe from North Track Fishing here. This is going to be a walkthrough of my 2013 Tracker V16 Pro guide. It's a tiller model. I towed this with a 2018 F250, and in the back of that F250 is a Northstar 850 SC. That means self-contained. It's a self-contained sliding camper. This is the ideal setup for camping and fishing in the West, and being self-contained, I can boondock anywhere the fish are. So the boat seat sits 3 comfortably. You can put 4 in it, but generally speaking, we remove one of the seats and there's just 2 of us and the dog going, or I go solo. The butt seat up front is used for jigging or casting, but if we're gonna go out trolling, that is left at home. I don't see many tracker tiller models out there. I see a lot of trackers, but strictly for fishing, you can't beat a tiller model with the amount of room you have. When I go solo and remove the 2 seats, I have more room than most 18-foot boats, so really like that. This is the 10th season that I've launched this boat, and I launch it 50 to 60 times per year. So that to me is a testament to the manufacturers and the vendors that are represented here in this boat. It's been a fantastic rig, and let's take a look at what powers it. So I have 2 motors at the back of the boat. They're both Mercury's. This is a 6 horsepower kicker motor, and I use this on lakes that have a horsepower restriction, like a 9.9 horsepower restriction, because my trolling motor batteries and trolling motor wouldn't be able to pull this thing all day long. But the main motor is a 60 horsepower. This gets us down the lake no problem. We can get up to 28 miles an hour, I think, with a couple people in it, and really smooth ride and really reliable. So I'm here at the helm of the boat, and this is where all the activity happens. This is where I steer the boat from. I can also reach over and utilize the kicker motor to steer with that. I have access to 3 rod holders right around me, so if I have 3 rods out there, I can easily jump up and grab them. I can see the gauges of the boat to monitor it very easily right here. We also have access to the switches for the live well and the lights. I have a tackle holder behind me where I have my snap weights, and I put those on if I want to get down a little bit deeper. I can get into the rod lockers very easily from here. I also have a number of cup holders, which are pretty important to me, and I have access to a cooler, the boat cooler, built-in boat cooler. So easily get your waters or frescas or whatever. From here, I can also see both of my Lowrance fish finders. I've got a 5-inch back here, and I've got a 7-inch up front. Usually on the one back here, I have it as a GPS, so I'm tracking my tracks of where I've trolled, and I can mark waypoints. I'll also monitor speed and water temperature back here. And then up front is going to be sort of the downscan graph of the contours, our speed, our depth, and any fish that we might be running into. These units are 10 years old, and you can spend thousands on graphs. I'm very happy with these. They're adequate, and they've done a good job for me over the years. So nothing special about the rear battery box, although it is really accessible from the helm. And it has one Optima blue top battery, and that is the starting battery for the Mercury. It also runs the pumps in the live well and lights, and if you want to recharge your battery. Have a Bass Pro Shops XPS charger in there, so I plug that in when I'm done fishing or when it's back in the garage. The one thing I did want to show you though is I do stuff a lot of things into this battery box, and I just want to kind of give you an idea what goes in here. So I put quite a bit of stuff in that rear battery compartment. I do carry tools with me. I keep them in a plastic bag just for some basic breakdowns. Nice to have a set of tools with you. I do bring all my manuals in a plastic bag for anything that's on the boat. I have duct tape, electrical tape. A rag is always nice in case you have a problem with your plug and you need to use this in a temporary fashion. Some surgical plastic. Keep a couple of light sticks handy as well in case you're out at night or something like that. Of course, you have to have the smoky dog bowl and then my Pissoir. All of these tools will be stacked on top of this, and I just pull all those tools out and put them in their place when I get to where I'm fishing. I also want to explain a little bit more about what this is, which is my launch box. So this is my launch box, not to be confused with a lunch box. This is my go-to thing when I'm at the boat ramp, ready to launch my boat. When I open this up, I have the inspection from the last time I was at a lake. I have my Minn Kota co-pilot remote control for my trolling motor. I have the keys to the boat. I have my plug, and I have my safety lanyard for my motor. I also have backups of those things in here, along with my registration in a plastic bag and backup batteries. When I'm done fishing, put the safety lanyard back in. When you take the plug out, put it right back in here. I take the keys out of the boat, put them in here. Take this off from around my neck, put it back in here. And I take my new inspection and put it back in the launch box. And I'm ready to rock and roll for the next time I go fishing. So we're in the main cockpit of the boat. The boat has seat post receivers to have 3 seats up here. A lot of times I remove these 2 seats because I'm fishing by myself. It has rod lockers on both sides of the boat. You can fit a ton of rods into here. I'm usually bringing 15 to 20 rods each time. You can also see on this side that in the orange rod sock holders, the rods that I have strapped right to the deck of the boat. I have another set of straps on this side too, so that works out really, really well. I mounted this Yeti here. Generally speaking, we use the Yeti for ice only, for replenishing the ice in the boat cooler or in your margarita glass. Right behind that, strapped to the bulkhead, I do have a cargo net, and that's great for just stuffing things in their sweatshirts or trash or anything you don't want flying around in the boat. For the passengers who are up front here, they both have a grab bar, so really convenient to hold on when you're underway, and a drink holder, so they're not spilling the drink anywhere. I also have a throwable cushion that I attach up here to this netting. You can sit on that as a cushion and also use it as a safety device. So the first 2 sets of hatches at the bow are for the live well. This live well can also be divided. There's a divider in there, and then you can see the bucket over there if you wanted to fish with live fish, so minnows or something like that. I will tell you that I only use the live well during tournaments because I catch and release. So I use this live well for storage, and I'll show you what I put in here for storage. I mentioned that I use my live well for storage. Unless I'm fishing in a tournament, I'm generally catch and release, so I don't have the live well running. I do store these 7 tackle boxes in it. These are in addition to a couple of boat bags full of tackle boxes that are easily transportable, and you can pretty much put them anywhere in the boat. I've also cut down this bird seed container to house a bunch of things that I'll go into a little bit deeper in a minute. And I've taken the minnow bucket and just turned that into a trash bucket. So it's a really efficient live well if you're using it just for storage. So you can see what I put in this cut down bird seed container, and it makes it just really easy to lift out if you are going to fish a tournament. All this stuff just stays right with it. But trout species or species of fish in Colorado, hand sanitizer, betadine, first aid kit, bug spray, sunscreen, Israeli bandage, tourniquet, wet wipes. Like to have some extra sunglasses and goggles on board. In case we're taking fish home, there's a stringer, binoculars. Don't use these markers as much because we use waypoints on the GPS. Flashlight, a couple extra towels, and always an extra hat. This has come in handy every now and then too. So this is what I keep right in that live well. So the middle 2 hatches are for the deep cycle batteries that run the trolling motor. There's really not a ton to see in here, but you can see there's one blue top Optima right there, and there's another one right next to it. And then at the bottom of the screen is the charger. And again, this is the charger that I plug in after every fishing trip, so we recharge those deep cycle batteries. The other thing that I keep in that storage area is the pedal for my trolling motor. Although I use my remote control with the co-pilot, I'll keep that in there. I'll also keep a pair of water sandals just in case some issue happens with a boat and I don't want to get my socks and feet wet or shoes wet. And then of course my Yeti koozies for my Frescas. So that all goes into that middle battery box. The front box holds my anchor and anchor line, and it also holds my launch rope. So after I'm done launching, I just stuff it back in here and we're good to go. I have cargo nets and rod holders on both sides of the boat. I can store up to 8 or 9 rods and a net, and I store a lot of equipment within the cargo nets. So this is all the gear that I store in my cargo nets up front in the bow. So in case I am doing a tournament, I've got my fish bag, I've got 2 30-inch drift socks, I've got my Bluetooth speaker, this is 2 rain soaks in a waterproof bag, this is a throw rope for safety, a bilge pump, an umbrella, and my 2 bumpers that are really easy accessible when you're launching the boat. All right, last thing up at the bow, I strapped this yellow bag to both sides of the cargo net with some carabiners, and I'd like to share with you what I put in this yellow bag. So the yellow bag holds the life jacket for Smokey. It holds 3 of these AM24 life jackets from Bass Pro Shops. Always carry extra gloves and fishing gloves with the fingers not on them. A couple extra hats usually, hand warmers, and these thermal blankets in case anybody does get wet. Also have an air horn and a couple of flares, as well as a safety whistle. So that's all in the yellow bag. I will also put in my guide suit, which is my jacket and my bibs for those really incredibly crazy days. Hey, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed the video.